I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular October school board meeting, October 3rd. Normally, I would ask Mr. Philo to call roll, but he's ill, so we have to name a treasurer pro temp. And I would nominate Tim to be the treasurer pro temp tonight. Would need a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So, thank you.
Okay, so roll
If you
call.
roll.
I'd like to call roll. Jerry Browning,
Here?
Tim Steiner. Here. Wendy Landon,
Here.
Katie Lott,
Here.
Stephanie Webb.
Here.
Can we all please?
Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda is to approve the agenda as presented. If we could get a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Mr. Steiner?
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Okay, I'll slow down.
Okay, I'd like to call the roll then. Jerry,
Yes.
myself. Can I vote? Presume not. Probably not. Okay, Wendy,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Next is to approve the minutes of the Thursday, September 5th regular meeting.
So moved.
So, second.
I'll second.
Okay, Stephanie,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes, motion carries. Next is reports and good of the order. Stephanie, you want to start?
Sure. Fairborn Middle School Student Council is hosting Spirit Week next week. Monday will be Neon Day, one of my favorite days. Tuesday, teachers dress like students and students dress like teachers. I like that. Wednesday, Pajama Day, school appropriate pajamas only. Thursday is favorite team jersey day. And Friday will be Skyhawk Spirit Day. Several middle school students can earn ROCS points by taking ownership and maximizing your learning time. Make sure you come to class ready to learn and stay on task throughout the day. Also, the middle school, I was at PBIS for Fairborn Middle School and saw a lot of data that we had for the first start of the school year, and it looks really, really good. The kids are enjoying being at the new middle school, and I think they're doing a pretty good job. So I am glad to see that they're enjoying their new school. Also, we will be having at the middle school October 21st to 25th, the first annual book fair in the new building, and we're excited. We haven't had one in a while mostly due to COVID, and so we're really excited. And I invite y'all to come by and check it out. It's going to be cool. So thank you.
All right. We want to say thank you to all of our Fairborn City School District custodial staff. Yesterday was Appreciate a Custodian Day. You are very important to the education of our students as you keep all of our buildings safe and clean. We appreciate you every day, but October 2nd, as I said, we wanted to honor you all with a shout out on social media. Be sure to thank our hardworking custodians. Also, Fairborn Intermediate School Principal Tammy Gendro will be jumping out of an airplane, skydiving, with a parachute, on Saturday because of her school's fundraising efforts. The school met their PTO fundraising goal of $25,000. And Mrs. Gendro is honoring her team by skydiving. She paid for that herself. She wants you to know that. Hats off to the Fairborn Intermediate team and their families, and we can't wait to see you jump on Saturday, October 5th. And I'd like to also invite everyone. Our senior night for girls soccer will be Monday evening, It's a pink out game against Stebbins. Varsity will kick about 5:30 and, or JV at 5:30 and varsity at 7:50. So wear your pink, come out to the field. It's a fun time.
Next week, October the 7th to the 10th, actually is a really busy week for our school district. We'll have the Goodwill Drive to Victory, so the band edition, which begins in the district is competing against Xenia Band this year. The Goodwill truck will be parked at Fairborn High School, and we will accept donations daily from 11 to 7. Clothing, shoes, toys, household items, housewares, jewelry, medical equipment, books, furniture, small working appliances, computers, electronics are all accepted. You can also donate cars. Those are, an old car because they're great for the weight, by calling 228 Auto. Also, the Fairborn City Schools Homecoming Parade is next Thursday evening, October the 10th, starting at 6. The parade route starts at the TCN Behavioral Health at 1825 Commerce Boulevard and it ends at the Alumni Field with the junior and senior powder puff game. You can bring a canned food for the Fairborn City Schools Hot Pantry. Items of need are peanut butter, jelly, ramen noodles, Nutri-Grain bars, spaghetti sauce, tuna, pudding cups, soup cans, cheese and peanut butter crackers, cookies individually wrapped. Also, I wanted to note that Trunk or Treat will be at Fairborn Primary School on October the 30th. I think it's from 6 to 8, if I remember correctly. Is it 5 to 7? Okay, thank you. 5 to 7. Also, the band, they will compete in Indy on October 18th, and that'll be an early morning competition. So, and then I went to a girls soccer game, a varsity soccer game, and they won over Wayne on Monday night. Pretty exciting game. So, congratulations to them as well.
Yes, I'd like to recognize Corinne Shiley and Manny Becker, where they have qualified for the districts in tennis. Congratulations for that, it's a big deal. Also, the girls' tennis team won the Miami Valley League division title, and that's huge.
Yeah, that's the third time in the last 5 years.
That's-
that they've won
that's
that, which is
fantastic.
awesome. Okay. FHS is hosting our first annual homecoming tailgate next week. It's at the high school in Miami Cames. It's back behind by the tennis courts. And it's going to start at 4:30. It's Friday, October 11th, starting at 4:30. We'll have hot dogs, chips, and water available. And I saw it's for the first 500 people, roughly. But we hope that the community would come join us. That's the first time to do this before homecoming, so it should be a neat event. The next thing is Fairborn Primary continues its strong focus on academics and attendance. They rewarded classes for perfect attendance, and I see a lot of stuff on social media where they're recognizing classes for perfect attendance. And we're very proud of the young Skyhawks for their commitment and dedication to attendance and academics. And just a couple comments. I've been to a number of football games, been to boys soccer, been to girls soccer, and I can tell you both of the soccer teams I think are playing very good soccer. I know the game fairly well, and watching them play, it's obvious that they're being taught correctly, and they're very competitive. And the girls especially are a young team, so there's some good things coming on the girls' side. So with that, we'll go to recognition of visitors.
Yes, we have two people who have signed up. Has we missed anyone on the list before I read it off? Please sign. Gretchen, you're on the list. So Gretchen Rashi and Marilyn McCollum. You may go. Please.
Yeah, she went down there.
Good evening. My name is Gretchen Fozzie. I live at 561 McIntyre Drive. I have my two children, both graduated from Fairborn City Schools. I am in my 27th year of employment with Fairborn City Schools, and I am the president of the Fairborn Classified Employees Association. At the September 5th, 2024 Board of Education meeting, we're going to go to line item 11G. It is recommended to approve the attached revised administrative salary schedule effective August 1st, 2024. And it passed by a vote of 5-0 without discussion of what it was. In essence, this line item awarded the central office directors, the high school principal, the assistant superintendent, and the PR grant writer an additional 3% pay raise. I spoke with Mr. Browning before the meeting and asked for a reason why this group of employees were being awarded an additional 3% pay raise. I told Mr. Browning that it was my understanding that this occurred as a result of Mr. Burr, the assistant treasurer, being awarded by this board $17,000 in additional monies once union negotiations were completed, of which there was no denial. I was informed that the per diem rates of the directors were below those of the elementary and middle school head principals. The district directors plus the high school principal are all on the same pay scale. The 3% adjustment for the directors above by a few dollars. The per diem of the elementary and middle school head principals. The adjustment to the PR grant writer and assistant superintendent positions keep the ratios intact with the directors. Well, we brought up this issue in our September joint FEA-FCEA executive committee meeting, where we always discuss the happenings at the previous Board of Education meetings. And to say that members felt and still feel discouraged and disheartened is saying the least. We've been told that we do not want you, meaning us, to be the highest paid employees in the region. We're also told that we can't increase the base pay too much because that will break the district. But it seems an additional 3% for some of the highest paid employees in the district is perfectly acceptable. I asked Mr. Browning before the September board meeting that I would like answers to this decision. I'm asking on behalf of FEA and FCEA for answers that still have not been received. Thank you.
Yeah, but typically we don't comment public, but I will tell the group that this is still being looked at. In fact, we're going to talk about it more this evening in executive session.
Okay, Marilyn McCauley?
Good evening. My name is Marilyn McCauley. I've lived here forever, with the exception of 13 years in DC. My kids graduated from Fairborn schools. My grandkids graduated from Fairborn schools, and I currently have 2 great-grandkids going to Fairborn schools. But that's not why I'm here tonight. I come here tonight to give a shout out to some special people in this school system. Late spring, I got an email from a gentleman from Utah named Doug. He said, I hear you helped another veterans reunion group that came to Fairborn, and I was wondering if you would help us. This was a group that was stationed at some time or another in Phan Rang Air Base in Vietnam. So these were all Vietnam veterans. And I kind of asked him what he wanted, and he didn't know, I didn't know. I said, sure, let's talk some more and we'll think about it. So I went on their Facebook page because I wanted to find out more about them. And the thing that struck me more than anything was in their correspondence with each other, they always signed off with welcome home. Now, those of us who have been around a while know how the Vietnam veterans were welcomed home. They weren't, the bottom line. So anyhow, Doug and I corresponded back and forth, and I said, we've got to do something special for these folks. And so one thing I was able to do was had a big sign made, welcome home, to be in their party area. Another thing I was able to do was to get a band for their Saturday night big party, and they loved every minute of it. But the special thing, thanks to Pam Gayhart, was I asked if we could get a thank you / welcome home card for every attendee at the reunion. And of course, as Pam does, of course. So we proceeded down that road, and the kids jumped in, prepared a written note to every attendee, which was put in an envelope with the attendees, the veteran's name on it. And as they registered, they each got their own welcome home card. I happened to be there a while they were coming in and reading their cards, and it was very emotional. They absolutely loved it. One young man says, thank you for your service, welcome home, and it has hearts and the flag all over the card. Another
obviously older student, wrote, "Dear Vietnam veteran, hi, I'm Anna, and welcome home. I know you didn't get the welcome you were expecting, but I'm here to welcome you home, and so is all of Fairborn Intermediate. You are so brave for going out there. I know I never could do something like that. Thank you for your service. We are very grateful for you. You made a sacrifice, and I know it was scary, but boy, are we grateful for you. And again, thank you so much. You are a hero. Sincerely, Anna." One of the attendees wrote back to one of the schools, says, "Thank you very much for the welcome home cards that you sent us for our reunion. In particular, I would like to thank Clayton for his great job making the card I received. All the veterans talked about how nice the cards were and how thoughtful it was for you to make them for us. A special thank you also to Mrs. Gayhart and to all the teachers and other staff who organized this project. Rich Hall, U.S. Air Force veteran." And last but not least, in their newsletter after the reunion, they published some of the cards that the veterans received. And those who couldn't attend enjoyed them so much, they are now publishing as many as people sign in so that the non-attendees can get their special welcome as well. And one lady wrote, "Fairborn Primary School, Fairborn Intermediate School, and Fairborn Middle School children provided these messages to each of the veteran attendees. What a beautiful way for children to learn about our country and what it meant for so many young men to serve long ago and far away. I hope this is just one sign of the great time you all had together in Fairborn." So with that, I just want to give a shout out to the students, the teachers. I won't try to name everybody because I'll miss somebody, but thank you to all that participated in this event that meant so much to these veterans. I wish everybody could have seen the emotions and the feelings that these gentlemen had. It was so appreciated. And to find that our students don't just come here and learn to read, write, and arithmetic, but they also learn a lot about humanity. So thank you, everybody who was involved in this effort.
So next on the agenda is school district presentations.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. First up, great excitement. We have a student here tonight for a graduation recognition. Mrs. Cicchetti.
Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Gene Lawley, Superintendent, I certify that Cameron Hunter, member of the class of 2024, has met all graduation requirements set forth by the state of Ohio. And the Fairborn Board of Education, I now present Cameron Hunter for graduation. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Cameron.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Flip your
good.
tassel.
Yeah.
You can throw your hat in there.
Yeah. Don't put
You
his eye out.
You can throw your hat on. Yeah, thank you. Congrats.
Somebody can follow my first.
Why don't you get a family picture? You want to get a family picture?
I love how many of you, this man clearly has a lot of support. This is great. Now you are all absolutely welcome to leave. Because it does not get any more exciting from here.
No. Oh, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the National Project Lead the Way Outstanding Teacher Recognition, presented by Dr. Bracken.
She just, how you want it?
Try. Oh, you're on.
You want to, here, switch with me.
Let me try this again. Dr. Brackenhoff is here to present the National Project Lead the Way Outstanding Teacher Recognition. Yeah, they took it down here.
Yeah.
I just told Mrs. McCalla that a flood of emotions came with her announcement because my dad was stationed at Van Ryn when I was in 4th grade. So hearing that just brought back a lot of emotions for me as a student. So I'm glad our students got to recognize those people. So my apologies.
No problem.
Now we get to do joyous things. Each year, Project Lead the Way educators play a measurable role in creating transformative learning experiences in their classroom through Project Lead the Way programs. Outstanding Project Lead the Way teachers and administrators are honored and recognized through the National Project Lead the Way Teachers and Administrators of the Year Awards. These outstanding teachers across the U.S. inspire, engage, and empower their students by creating transformative learning experiences in their school through their Project Lead the Way programs. This year, one of our own has received national recognition. We would like to congratulate Mrs. Mandy Spurks for her recognition as National Outstanding Project Lead the Way Teacher in Biomedical Science. We are so proud of her accomplishments and thankful for her leadership with Project Lead the Way program here at Fairborn High School. In addition to being an outstanding teacher in the classroom, she's an outstanding Project Lead the Way student association leader, and her students each year go to competitions and every single year come back with some level of recognition because of the efforts that she has put forth in their behalf. And so as leader of our biomedical science pathway and as a national outstanding Project Lead the Way teacher in biomedical science, we would like to recognize Ms. Mandy Spurk.
Perfect.
Next up. Next presentation is from Dr. Sue Brackenhoff to present great news on our district report card.
And we do have great news to share. Excuse me. So for those of you who can see way up there, I have to have a pointer here because my eyes are not going to. I'm going to just share an overview of our district report card and some of our efforts that we believe helped us arrive there. So the report card rankings for the state is 1 through 5 stars. And as a district, we scored 4 stars this year, the first time in this new ranking. And 4 stars signifies that we exceed the state standards in academic achievement. And it's a collection of measures that arrive at this. So in the achievement and progress components, we had 3 stars in achievement. These are the levels of proficiency that our students demonstrate on our state test. And then 4 stars on our progress measure, which measures how much our students have grown from the beginning point to a second point. In these areas, we did not change our star status, but we did have growth within each of those areas. Where we saw tremendous growth is in our gap closing measure. We went from 4 to 5 stars, with 5 being the highest we could get. And from our graduation rate, 2 stars to 3 stars. Gap closing looks at all of our students. It also looks at subgroups of our students, trying to make sure that we have equity and access to all of our students and the opportunity to achieve and exceed. Our early literacy is the 5th and final component, and this we move from 2 stars to 3 stars. Early literacy looks at students who are on track between kindergarten and 3rd grade. And on track and not on track is the designation from year to year. But by the time they get to 3rd grade, that final measure is proficiency, which is a score of 700 on the state report card. So this is an interesting, even though very small, probably to most of you, graph. Each year, the state publishes a list of 20 districts that are similar in demographics to Fairborn. Last year, out of the 20 similar districts, Fairborn was number 5 in that list. This year, we are number 2 in that list. We are the only one in the group of 21 districts, us plus 20, to score 4 stars. There was one district that scored 5 stars, and that was Steubenville. Now, we also have reported the components under them. We have 18 collective stars. Austintown had 19, but it depends on where those stars are, because not all components count the same. So overall, we would rank number 2 out of this list of 21 schools. And I've highlighted the local, geographically local schools as a comparison. West Carrollton had 3.5 stars. Xenia had 3 stars. Mad River had 2.5 stars. So the efforts of our teachers in the classroom, our students working hard, our community embracing all of them, and the leadership within our buildings to focus our efforts. We really focused on chronic absenteeism, graduation, and early literacy. And all of those areas, we did see some great growth. So some celebrations. Overall, we moved from 3.5 to 4 stars. We have our similar district rank moved up to second place. All 4 of our buildings met the goal for reducing chronic absenteeism. And when I say a collective effort, that truly is an understatement with this. Every teacher, every building leadership team, their solution teams was focused on doing a variety of things to encourage our students to be at school and to reduce the number of days they are out of school. As a district, we went up in 3 different components, as I said before, and as a district, we did not drop in any components. Within the component, even though the rankings stayed the same on 2 of them, we saw growth within those. So, and our graduation, which was a huge jump, we scored 4 out of the 6 points to bring that graduation rate up. Graduation rate, I think the last reported, remember it's 2 years behind, was 91.1, and the projected graduation rate for the next year, this past year, is 94.1. So we are continuing to raise that graduation rate. So how did we get here? And I'm going to go through this really. Working together, aligning our curriculum, our instruction, our assessments, really focusing on that improvement. We have a variety of systems, of teams in place that are led at the building by our building administrators that work together to help us be intentional and focus on the things that we believe will help us improve. Every 3 years, we go through a process called One Needs Assessment. We look at 3 years of data and we develop a plan. And our plan has 3 goals in 3 areas. One is instruction, the other is technical education, and the third area is behavioral support. And all of those together are based on looking at 3 years of data and identifying what the needs of our students are and where we would like to grow. And I'm just clicking through just to give you an idea, like in instruction, we have a lot of things that we plan to do to help us continue to grow our students in these areas. But I want to talk a little bit about how we got to the success, some of the things that we have implemented, and by no means is this all. This is just a sampling of all the wonderful things that go on in our classrooms each and every day. So we've really made a huge growth in early identification. We now do the state-required dyslexia screening, which last year was the first year, so we screened kindergarten through 5th grade students. From starting this year, we screen all kindergartners each year, and early identification is the key to getting them the support that they need. And we've also implemented our iReady universal screener, which 3 times a year tells us the progress our students are making and helps develop a personalized learning pathway through MyPath, which is an online study component. Our special education and gifted services, again, really looking at all of our students. We have added accelerated classes, again, recognizing that we have some very talented students and we want to give them the opportunity to excel. So we have 2 classes of 5th graders this year that are taking 6th grade math. We have 8th graders that are taking 9th grade English for high school credit. We have 18 classes, different AP courses, and we doubled the enrollment in AP courses this past year. We offered free AP testing for our students, believing that if students are working hard in this, we want to give them the opportunity to demonstrate their growth and to earn college credit. Over 26% increase in a passage rate, which means 26% more college credit gained through our AP programs. I think one of the wonderful things that was added last year is our AP Fair, where students try to get other students to choose AP for future classes, and it was a phenomenal success. In special education, we have instructional coaches at every building who are working with their intervention specialists as well as their classroom teachers to support students in the classroom. Our supervisors at every building help with development of IEPs and also that oversight and goal setting for special education. Because as I said, gap closing, we got 5 stars. Looking at our accelerated kids, looking at our students with special needs, we want all of our students to grow. Other initiatives we have are early literacy. As you all are well aware, the state of Ohio is one of the leaders in the nation on the science of reading, and the expectation that all teachers K through 12 have training in the science of reading. Our teachers are well on their way. They have until June of 2025, so the end of this school year, to complete their training. And again, they have done a phenomenal work with that. We've also had, we're doing another group of letters training, which is intensive year-long training for teachers. This group this year is doing their 2nd year. We've had 2 other groups that have completed 2 full years of training in the science of reading. And then our student support. We have continued our Success program, which offers tutoring to our K through 5 students. Our Title I program, those programs are completely aligned with our school plan, as well as the instructional methods they use. They identify which the Success teachers or the Title I teachers are going to serve groups of students to ensure that we support as many kids as possible. And I truly believe, especially in early literacy, classroom teachers do a phenomenal job, but they cannot do it alone. And it's the work of the Success teachers providing that extra instruction that has helped us make the gains. We have math foundation class at the middle school, which again supports students who are still struggling in math. And last year we started one reading foundation class here at Fairborn High School. And this year we found the opportunity to not just add 1 class, but we were first looking at 9th graders, and Mrs. Giacchetti was ready to jump all in. And so we are trying to provide foundational reading instruction for secondary students, for all the students that we needed. So that is a huge step forward, and I have to tell you, we are one of the very few high schools that are doing that. It is great for us to graduate kids, but what is more important is that we send kids out in the world with functional reading skills to help them be successful in whatever they choose. Our teacher supports, because none of this is possible without the work of the teachers, our ongoing professional development in literacy and gifted special education, our curriculum. Our teachers are becoming data experts, technology. Before COVID, we were not a one-to-one district, and our teachers have embraced that and learned to use that technology to help instruction as well as to help for individualized learning for students. In addition, we have our literacy and math coaches, which were part of our Success initiative. These are the people that are helping the teacher keep their head above water. Working in a classroom every single day involves so many different skills, but planning for instruction is probably the most important thing they can do. And by working together with the coaches and focusing on our outcomes and our data, we are able to support our teachers as they continue in their journey. Our instructional coach services at the high school, we work with Greene County ESC, and our instructional coach has been instrumental in starting our reading programs here and helping us with some of the other areas at the high school. And then throughout the district, the continued data meetings, really looking at the data that we have and being intentional about the choices that we can make. In K through 8, really, well, that should really say K through 12, because high school has embraced this with a vengeance and is also looking not just at district data, at building data, at grade level data. Every teacher has data about their students, and then we're working together to develop action steps that we can help students continue to grow. We are, again, looking at not only the state assessment data, OST, EOC, but also our iReady and individual student assessments we have. So I'm going to see if I can get that to go back. So that is where we are as a district, which is, again, something that we should be extremely proud of. Couldn't come at a better time. We opened a third new building, and again, with the support of the board and everyone in this district working together, I think we've accomplished a pretty phenomenal achievement level.
Thank you, Dr. Brackenoff. Job well done by the entire staff at Fairborn City Schools. Yeah, give yourself a hand. Next up is Mrs. Gear, here to talk about the Fairborn Middle School Washington, D.C. trip.
Well, if you have any questions, we have 90 students signed up and we have a waiting list. We're going at the peak time this year, so they were only able to secure us 2 buses. And so we have 90 students signed up, 3 on the waiting list so far. So unfortunately, we're going the week before graduation and the week after student testing makeup. So the 13th through the 16th is peak, so it's going to be very busy while we're there.
Interesting to see how that changes.
Yes. Yes.
What's the most kids you've ever taken?
We've taken 4 buses in the past.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that might also change your
Yeah,
experience.
so we're a little disappointed that we have kids that are on the waiting list and we've never had a waiting list before, so, but unfortunately with the area that we're at, everybody's going the 13th through the 16th of May, so. One thing that we do, our trip is cheaper than a lot of other area. Miss Reynolds' son is an 8th grader in Northmont, and it's like $500 more. But we have a tier that we're a little bit lower, and we use all our scholarship money to go to Mount Vernon and pay for the extra things. Instead of giving out 2 scholarships, we do everything so that we keep the cost down below for parents, and then we use those scholarships to go to Mount Vernon and a few other places that would cost parents, so.
How much does it cost?
It cost $1,000 this year, even.
Great experience for the kids.
It is, it's fantastic. Any questions? All right,
Thank you, Mrs. Gear.
Thank you for doing this and good luck.
Okay, the next 2 presentations will not be done since Mr. Philo is not here. However, the board will vote on the 5-year forecast here shortly. Mr. Brown.
Okay, so next is budget and finance on page 2. There's a few items, if we could get a motion in a second, and if there's any discussion or questions.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll. Stephanie?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Ms. Landon?
Yes.
Ms. Malad?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next is the administrative reports and superintendent recommendations. If we could get a motion in a second. Now, this goes all the way to like the top of page 12 is where it goes. If we could get a motion in a second.
So moved.
Hang on. I gotta move my page. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Katie. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
All right, and I'd like to call attention to page 8 for a resolution of tribute for Roberta Rupp, who is retiring. She's an intervention specialist at the primary building, and resolution of tribute for 32 years in education, 16 of which were spent for Fairborn City. So we greatly appreciate her service and wish her the best in her retirement.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments?
No.
If not, Mr. Stein.
Katie?
Donnie,
Roll call.
yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Ms. Landon? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next is gifts and donations.
Can we do it? Sure. All right. The Fairborn City Schools Board of Education would like to gratefully acknowledge the following gifts and donations. City Church provided food for the Hawks Pantry. Jama Enterprises Incorporated provided $1,000 for the Turf Fund. Chris and Pam Gayhart, $1,000 for the Turf Fund. Kirk and Amy Gayhart, 5 softball helmets for the softball program. The Gospel Outreach and Training Center, $500 for the FHS Clinic, $500 for the FMS Clinic. Stephanie Peterangelo, $500 for the Turf Fund. TCA Graphics, $1,000 for the Turf Fund. And John Varner, $1,000 for the Turf Fund. We greatly appreciate your donations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So next, we would go into work session.